SpechtSolutions.com. So do you have it in for Rita Neal? You just kind of bash on her all the time.
Well, this is what public officials say when there are issues. When you find an issue, for example, that she got a 20% raise and is now wanting to get a 15.5% raise, their common response is, "Oh, this reporter is after me." Adam Hill said it for years. It was never that he was actually taking bribes. It was never that he was actually bullying people. It was always, "Oh, that mean reporter doesn't personally like me."
So if she gets this other raise tomorrow, that puts her over $400,000.
Yes.
In my next calling, I want to be a but she doesn't go to court. She's an administrator. I'm not trying to overly pick on her. Why did she pick Don Ernst? What qualifies him to handle this case?
Now, this was done in closed session, so there's a lot of information that's not out there, but I have heard that, again, I've heard that it did not go out to bid, and if that is correct, this could be problematic.
So she picked the person.
Or somehow they found out about it and applied for the job.
Yeah.
And then, again, when you do things in closed session, it really keeps it away from the public understanding what the issues are.
Do you expect at the public hearing tomorrow that there will be an investigation as to how Don Ernst got the gig?
Well, here's the thing. The Board of Supervisors has subpoena power, and they have a right to say, we want an investigation into this. And because Rita Neal is involved, they could vote to get outside counsel to do an investigation. They could subpoena the application by Don Ernst to get this. They could look at the wording of this lawsuit to find out if Dan Dow is correct, and the wording does say it's a type of lawsuit that is supposed to go to him. They can ask for all the billings that Don Ernst has given. When you have an attorney, they're supposed to give you regular statements that not only say how much they're charging, but what they have done. So I think there is a chance they will ask for an investigation and use their subpoena power.
Do we know if Dan Dow is interested in such an investigation?
I am not sure. He does not sound happy with the fact that this was waylaid his office's ability to do this. He also, being on that committee, he really is opposed to using contingency contracts for monies going to the public.
Well, if we've got a district attorney's office, why are we farming the work out to friends of the county council? And again, I've got the utmost respect for Don Ernst. This is not personal. He's the godfather in this town. I get that. But this doesn't pass the smell test to me.
No, it does not. And with all the problems in this county and all the allegations of special favors to friends and pay to play and everything else, you would think that they would not be doing this type of behavior at this time.
And with Lynn Compton about to be off the County Board of Supervisors, there goes the battle to remove Rita Neal from her job.
Well, Lynn's on there till January.
Yeah.
And Debbie does not plan on running again. And neither does John Pashan. We may see some supervisors willing to go the extra mile at this time.
Well, we have somebody on the Stolberg Law KBC text line saying district attorneys don't handle civil suits.
They primarily give advice.
Meaning?
They advise, they've advised the different departments on how to operate legally. And so it would have been her job to advise them if Dan Dow is right and that the Business and Professions Code says that the case should have went to him, it was Rita Neal's obligation to properly have that done.
But this listener is just saying the district attorney doesn't do civil stuff.
They do civil stuff all the time. That's incorrect.
Right.
They just recently filed a civil case against San Simeon based on criminal activity.
Also on the Stolberg line, listeners reminding us that Rita Neal is about to make more than the governor of California.
Yes.
Also on the Stolberg line, can the citizens of San Luis Obispo County place a referendum on the ballot capping raises so that they're only based on cost of living increases?
I would think they could put something on that takes back this ordinance that the prevailing wage for management and for administrators.
I haven't meant to exclude you from the conversation with Karen. I'm just trying to, my head's spinning as we preview tomorrow's County Board of Supervisors meeting. If you want in on the conversation, feel free to join us either by the phone or by the text 805-543-8830. If people want to do anything, though, they've got to email their supervisors.
Absolutely. Or show up at the meeting and talk at public comment.
You think people care? They don't know who Rita Neal is. They don't know what county council does.
Most people do not know who their elected or appointed officials are, but what they do know is almost everyone knows someone who had an opioid addiction in their family.
And so this is money that could have come to help them?
The money is supposed to go to opioid addictions. It's supposed to go to help people that are addicted to opioids in our community.
So instead it's going to go to Don Ernst.
It looks like it.
All right. We've got Fred in San Luis on KVEC. Hi, Fred.
Yeah, hi, Dave. How have you been?
Dr. Fred, how are you, sir?
Doing well. The only question I have, and again, I don't know the answer to it, but it'd be one to throw out there for the crowd, is I understand that the district attorney may do civil suits, but this is a pretty highly specialized situation where you're suing a pharmaceutical corporation for damages. That seems to me like it'd be pretty far out there in terms of the expertise that a district attorney's office would have, as opposed to someone like Don Ernst, who's basically made his living suing corporations and insurance companies. So I'm just throwing it out there, and
sure.
I mean, does the district attorney really have the expertise to win a case?
This case was not won by Don Ernst. It was won by a national firm who is doing it for all the different communities in the United States that decided to get on the bandwagon and go after the company. What Don Ernst is in line to do is do depositions of people in our community and pull things together in our community. And Dan Dow's office has already done a number of the class actions. Yeah. He's represented the county in similar class actions in the past.
I think that's a key point. So that Ernst is not actually in court taking on the pharmaceutical company.
No.
Okay, so what role then is he taking on right now? Because it's unclear to me as a listener on this show.
I'm not sure exactly what he is doing, but I think there is some. Again,
I don't think it's fair to him to be discussing what he's doing if we don't know what he's doing.
Well, we know what he's not doing, though, Fred. He's not in court challenging the pharmaceutical company. He's not doing the heavy lifting.
He didn't put the case together. A national firm put the case together. This was not Don Ernst didn't do this. He came in to do things locally, but this case was handled by a national firm.
Right.
So what specifically, what role did the county need his or any attorney's services for to deal with this opioid situation?
As I said, it would be one of the things that I was told, that it would be talking to some of the victims in this area and getting depositions.
So it's more gathering research.
Yes.
All right, Fred, thanks for the call. We move on. We've got Matt in San Luis on KVEC. Hi, Matt.
Hi there.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hi. My understanding was that Dan Dow just hired somebody to handle new cases specifically like this. So I'm wondering why we had to hire the Ernst firm, and I understand they're on a contingency fee basis. They're making a percentage of supposed to make a percentage of the money that we're getting, and perhaps about 30%, which might, I don't know what the amount might be, but maybe about $5 million possibly.
Do you know the percentage, Karen?
I had been told more recently, it's generally around 33. I had been told that Don Ernst and another person that he's working with wanted 12%. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Someone from the county told me today they thought it was closer to 12.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't matter as much what the percentage is, because I think it's totally inappropriate for a government entity through its lawyer or whoever else be paying out on a contingency fee basis on a case that they're not the ones that originally, like you said, the case is done already. All we're doing is we're just doing administrative work right now. That should be on an hourly basis, and the person that was just hired by our DA was supposed to get the money. Pardon me, that person should be able to handle this job. So it makes no sense. By the way, I understand that Ernst just came up with a political action committee that he personally funded about $25,000 towards a supervisorial race recently, and his family similarly, they came up with $50,000 to defeat our South County supervisor.
Is that the case, Karen?
I am not sure the exact amount on everything they did.
All right, Matt, thank you. 805-543-8830. I'm just coming back to the point before I take the next call that there's somebody in Dan Dow's office that could have done everything that Mr. Ernst is expected to be doing.
They have a public integrity unit headed by Ken Jorgensen, and I have seen him do wonders on cases like San Simeon.
Eric is with us on KVEC. Hi, Eric.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
When it comes to Rita, I think you really have to look at the track record and whether we should be paying her this much or whether we should be asking our supervisors to terminate her contract. I mean, you can go back 6 months ago, 8 months ago with the sheriff and the DOJ. I'm still expecting something to come down from that. She basically flipped the finger to the DOJ, which is ridiculous. I don't know why, basically a lowly county attorney would be flipping my finger up to one of the biggest criminal sections of the DOJ and thinking they're not going to come back after her and really going after our sheriff. If you look at some of the things she said in the Board of Supervisors, I've seen her outright lie, or at the very least misrepresent the truth or twist the truth to the public. And, when people like Connor Duflag or Bruce Gibson ask her questions that seem to be set up. At this point, I don't know why we need her around.
Got a comment on that, Karen?
There are a number of people that are upset with some of the issues that have come up with Bruce Gibson and the issues with his home. Rita Neal really, off work, she came out and argued for him personally, and she is not his personal attorney.
So
she is the county attorney.
It seems, Karen, and within the county building, it's like you help me, I'll help you.
That is the allegation by many, that this is a very, remember Adam Hill, he would just tell people this is a pay-to-play county.
What else from you, Eric?
Well, a lot of that help also seems to be partisan when it comes from Rita's side. I don't see her doing this with the other three supervisors, but I can sit here and talk about the instances I've seen her do it on the Board of Supervisors with the two liberal sides.
Is she partisan?
She does appear very partisan. And remember, Don Ernst was one of the people behind keeping Adam Hill in office.
All right, Eric, thanks for checking in. 805-543-8830 as we visit with Karen Veely from Coast News. Jeff is on KVEC. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, how are you folks?
We're great.
Boy, I'll tell you, I couldn't agree with Eric on that more. And, Rita misinterprets the law the way it reads on a regular basis. She's really a master at it. And, what we should be thinking about doing is saving some real money here instead of getting caught up in any conflict of interest whatsoever. Let Dan Dow go ahead and handle the case so the money goes to the proper place. And the board put it on the agenda to relieve Rita of her duties. Instead of giving her a raise, she should be working at Taco Bell or somewhere that's a little safer.
Well, that's unfair to her. She does have a law degree.
I know Taco Bell, it's got a good career.
Okay.
But,
is there anything else you have to add, Jeff? Or you just want to call
no,
in
I
and
just
insult
think
people?
they need to get rid of her ASAP. She's a real liability for our county.
Thank you. She's a liability.
I don't know if she's a liability, but I do believe that
She's very well. She's very well connected.
Would it have been best to put that out to bed? Or, first of all, should she have given it to Dan Dow according to the law? That will come out, I think, in the future. And if not, should she have put it out to bed?
It sounds like you talked to Dan Dow. Did he try to get this from before it went to Ernst?
I
Did he
don't
fight
think
for
he,
it?
I don't think he knew about it. Very often, when they go into closed session, it's very vague in the announcement, which is legal to do, and then very often they don't announce when they've taken an action when they come out.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 text messages on the Stolberg line, all thanking you for your reporting.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll come back for a final segment with Karen. We're live, we're local. You're listening to the Dave Congleton Show.